Where would you go right now if you want to get into the more social space?
If I had to do it right now, like I don't really know, but I would say MySpace. And I'm not even saying that's good advice. I'm just saying if I literally had to run out to the office right now and start working on something, I would work on MySpace.
We were talking about this for actually quite a while prior to this, and a lot of it comes down to goals. And we mentioned this earlier. A lot of it comes down to what is your actual end goal for your development platform, for your development. Are you making a game to make money? Are you making an app to make money? Are you making something as a learning experience? Are you trying to get something else out of it? You really need to take those things into consideration. Also, what your expertise level is, and how flexible the platform that you want to actually work on top of. Like Greg was saying, it's a third party, and they can literally do whatever they want at any given time, and you are just completely at their will. Few people who are in here who have worked on Facebook and worked for the past year at least on Facebook will know that around 9 months ago, a little bit around that area, that's when a lot of changes happened where feeds stopped popping into the main news feed as to what other people are doing in games and stuff like that. And that's because Facebook was trying to tailor their actual news delivery system and to change it to increase user experience, blah, blah. And you can always see those little small changes in Facebook platform. And that was a huge explosion. If you got into the support forums for Facebook, there was literally threads with 9,000 entries just of angry messages being like, you're totally destroying us, what do we we can't do anything, we can't get our message out there, our virality is completely at zero. And for anyone who's just not familiar with virality, it's just the ability for me to have something posted as a user. If I post something, someone else sees that, they post it, 2 people see that, they post it, so on and so forth. This is the standard internet jargon, but it also applies to games. So I think that for the most part it applies to your goals. Whatever you actually want to do, if you're doing this, I know there's a fair amount of students in this room. If you guys are looking for something to work on, for entertainment, for your personal use, or for something you want to actually, put online and see something cool happening, and you want to do it for free, basically, Facebook is still a great platform. MySpace is still, they're both good platforms to do your stuff on. Facebook's not the best, but then you'd be like, hey, it's on Facebook, my friends can see it. It's kind of cool.
One thing I want to add to that is, I'm just looking at this table of guys over here, and I go, realistically, they probably do not want to develop games for 45-year-old women. I could be completely wrong, but
I know that guy does, right there.
Right there? Yeah. And I go, that's something you really have to consider, is you're not making cool games that you're killing people and loving it. Yeah, okay, you can look at some exceptions, Mafia Wars,
a little bit of the game. Yeah,
and I guess looking at the whole picture, realistically, you're looking at 60-70% women, and you're making the majority of your money from women who are about 35 to 60. And the highest ARPU women, average revenue per user, are 55 to 65. They spend easily 10 times your money, and some of them are 20. And why? They probably don't know any better. They probably just go, hey, they want something, I'll spend the money. They have the money. It's like bingo, right? You gotta spend it on something. And maybe that's a stereotype. But that's just something to kind of factor in, right? Whereas if you're developing for the iPhone, that's a drastically different type of game. You can do more shoot 'em up style gaming, you can do a tower defense game, you can do different things.
It's costing $99.
Yes, per year. Although each export is free. Assuming someone's licensing their software.
Is there anything that you guys, to touch upon the challenge stuff here, what's the biggest thing that makes, maybe not for Joe here because he has a cushy job and he goes around and talks to people all the time. But, what makes you guys lose sleep? I mean, you all have your different visions on what you have to do product-wise, or you're working with writing code going to Facebook right now. What are the things that you see as the biggest challenges now for you?
Well, I think, from the perspective, it's a little different. We're betting on big recognizable brands and that have an established audience, and that's kind of our strategy. That's what we think is the winning strategy. So we're bringing that to differentiation, and that's what we're betting on. So to kind of break through the clutter and maybe some if we're out, we hear those up or down brands. So kind of our solution to challenges?
I don't really lose sleep over anything. I just try to. It's like a baby. Yeah. There's not a whole lot we can do, and since there isn't, we are just kind of focusing on what we can control and doing the best we can, and kind of trying to adapt. And that's really all we can do. And it's a sweet platform right now. I mean, Facebook, it's been better, but it still can't complain. And if it gets worse, well, we deal with it until we can't anymore. And at that point, either we change or we get something else, or at the mercy of the platform, shut it all down, and see what we do next, right? But that's like any company. There's nothing I inherently worry about.
So to go to the more positive side, what's the biggest growth opportunity? You mentioned MySpace. Do you think that Facebook is kind of...
I think the biggest growth opportunity is Facebook. It still is. It's one of those things. It's like, and that's why we're in a situation where we're just kind of laying low right now. Just sort of see what happens. Because the biggest growth opportunity is Facebook, and the biggest chance of dying off is Facebook. So, since you're totally at their mercy, you can risk on something. You can put your eggs in another basket or try to diversify. But then if something good happens on Facebook, you have caught all of it. And you may very well fail on the other platform. So to me, kind of the risk to reward is better off to just sort of stick around, keep burn rate low, and wait to see what happens. Doesn't mean don't do anything, it just means wait and see.
I think part of it comes back to also what actually does me up at night, which is the fact that I think a lot of the conversation that goes around Facebook games, a lot of the stuff that goes around everything is it's twofold. Firstly, I just want to emphasize that it is an evolving market, as something else we talked about earlier. This is also part of, and what Dennis was talking about this morning, the whole long-term, projections of the gaming space right now is very unclear. Sorry, the short to mid-term is very unclear. Long-term, you just don't know. What is Facebook? Is it actually a new platform people are going to make money just over time on? Is it just intermediary? Well, people are trying to figure out how social things interact with real games, or are these actually real games? That people are actually going to make real money off of and things like that. So there has been a few people who've done this. The second part of it for me is the fact that we oftentimes focus too much on the financial components of it all, and focusing a lot on how to make more money and how to focus on our users getting opening their wallets and stuff like that. And because it is a very cutthroat industry, you have to do that. And if you go to any of the conferences that talk about casual games and Facebook games, stuff that's the focus. Is 100% on the money. How do you make more money per user? How do you extract more from them? And I find that to be very, very strange, especially when compared to a lot of the gaming industry, which yes, focuses on market research and focuses on trying to get money out of people as well. But the terminology and everything is so take, I think, a lot of times for Facebook games versus what can we do for our users that's going to make them pay. That's going to want them to give us money. And that's where I think the biggest separation happens in my head, where it's just we have to drive capital, we have to drive money, because if we want these games to be survivors, we have to do that. But at the same time, where's the starry-eyed video game designers, and where's the starry-eyed programmers that and we all started out as that we wanted to make something that people love and find engaging and interesting and exciting, and keep them coming back, and in turn paying because they love it so much.